Hi everyone, my name is Elaine, and today I'm going to be discussing The Color of Magic, specifically the differences between Terry Pratchett's novel and the movie adaptation, which is The Color of Magic Part 1. Part 2 being based off the second novel in the Discworld series, The Light Fantastic. I'm going to discuss the differences mainly by pointing them out. Anything I don't mention, it is fairly safe to assume, was left unchanged during the film adaptation of the novel. Now let's jump into it. Countless tiny details were changed when making The Color of Magic into a movie. This list is probably far from exhaustive, but these are some of the things I noticed. Number 1. The elephants the world turtle, the Great Atuine, carries on its back are named in the book. Berelia, Tabal, Great Tafon, and Jerikeen. The elephants are not given names in the movie. Number 2. The Kroll's first mission over the edge of the disc fails because the chain holding the gantry snaps, so they can't find the sex of the turtle out in the movie. In the book, they need a larger gantry and have to send a second expedition over the edge. Their first mission isn't a failure because they confirm the shape of the world, basically the existence of the Discworld, which lies on the shoulders of 4 elephants, which are standing on the back of a giant turtle. In other words, their first mission was a success, which raised more questions. Number 3. Rincewind first spots Twoflower in the drum in the book, and on the docks in the film. 4. In the film, Twoflower can speak Ankh-Morporkian. In the book, Twoflower depends on his phrasebook to communicate with the people of Ankh-Morpork, like Broadman, the innkeeper. Rincewind is, of course, the exception, since he has a knack for languages and can speak one of those which Twoflower speaks back home. Number 5. Twoflower explains the nature of the counterweight continent in the movie. The patrician does in the book. Number 6. In the movie, the patrician gets a letter from the counterweight continent. In the book, it's from the Adjatian Empire, which is technically part of the continent, but whatever. Number 7. Twoflower is already in the drum when the brawl starts in the movie. In the book, Rincewind gets Twoflower out of bed before they go sightseeing. This is after his discussion with the patrician. By the time they make it downstairs, they've missed the brawl and the watch is cleaning up the bodies. Number 8. In the movie, Twoflower takes a picture with Cohen at the drum. In the book, it's Hrun. It's not technically either of them in either case. Rincewind lies to him about the man's identity, but small technicality. Hrun isn't actually a character in the movie. Number 9. When at a crossroads, Twoflower chooses where to go from a mixture of wooden signs and marker stones. Twoflower chooses not to go to the hospitable temple of Bel-Shem-Harath in the movie. He does go there in the book, even though it is an option in the movie. He chooses to see the Wormburg in the movie because he wants to see dragons. In the book, Hrun, Rincewind, and Twoflower basically stumble upon the Wormburg. Twoflower and Hrun are captured by some of its riders and taken inside, while Rincewind bests one of its warriors and forces him to take him inside. Number 10. There are no dryads in the movie. Rincewind is rescued by the luggage instead when he's dangling from a tree, surrounded by wolves and other dangers. Number 11. In the movie, Rincewind pulls Kring out of a rock. In the book, he pulls it out of a tree when Hrun drops him after being captured by the dragon riders. Kring isn't named in the movies either, just the book. 12. In the movie, Liesa brings Rincewind into the Wormburg. In the book, it's a male dragon rider. Rincewind also fights Liesa with a sword. In the book, he doesn't. He fights one of her older brothers. Chapter 13. In the book, Liesa's name is Liesa Wormbitter. In the movie, it's Liesa Dragon Lady. 14. In the book, Twoflower's dragon, Nine Reeds, is a male. In the movie, the dragon is female. Number 15. In the movie, Twoflower's dragon explains the power and how the dragons can exist. In the book, it's Grisha. Number 16. In the movie, no one chases Twoflower and Rincewind out of the Wormburg. In the book, some of the riders do. I think that's because they steal Hrun or rescue him against his will. And in the movies, like I said previously, he just doesn't exist. Number 17. Rincewind and Twoflower are not drawn into a parallel universe in the movie. No modern tech like airplanes exist in the movie. Number 18. On page 257, the space armor Rincewind and Twoflower don before making their way toward the Kroll spaceship is described as having feathers on it. They look like old-fashioned spacesuits, without the feathers in the first film. Number 19. In the novel, the Kroll spaceship is named the Potent Voyager. It is unnamed in the movie. Number 20. In the book, Rincewind is expelled after learning the spell from the Octavo. In the movie, he's expelled after the wizards get tired of trying to teach him after 40 years. He couldn't even get to the first level of wizardry, and they basically lose their patience and give up on him. These minor changes extend to the characters' appearances as well. 2 examples where this is the case are Rincewind and Liesa. In the book, Rincewind is described as being scrawny on page 19. In the movie, he has a slightly larger build. I wouldn't describe him as scrawny. I wouldn't really describe him as fat either. He's kind of like edging towards chubbiness, but still pretty average. Liesa also looks different, like I said. In the book, she has long red hair and even less clothing. Essentially, her long hair covers the top half of her body, kinda, and makes her, like, kinda decent. In the movie, she's played by Karen David, who has what she calls Chinese Cassie, I might be pronouncing that wrong, and a sliver of Jewish heritage. Her hair is a lot shorter. She's wearing more clothes, although I wouldn't say she's wearing tons of clothes. She has dark features, dark eyes, dark hair. It's just not what was described in the book. I'd say there are 3 major differences between the Color of Magic novel and part 1 of the film. First, wizard life is more front and center in the film. We don't get to see into the Unseen University in the Color of Magic novel, but the wizards play major roles in part 1 of the film. So anything pertaining to the wizards and the Unseen University and that plotline just don't happen in the book. Example would be the head librarian's accident, which turns him into an orangutan. I imagine I'll discuss this a lot more in my second movie and novel adaptation comparison of the Color of Magic, part 2 to the Light Fantastic, but don't want to get into them right now so as not to spoil it for anyone who's not gotten that far yet. Number 2, the film omits several of the characters which appeared in the Color of Magic novel. Examples include Liessa's family, her brothers, and her father Grisha, Tethys the sea troll, Hrun the barbarian, Kahartra the guest master and Kroll, the gods, especially Fate and the Lady, which play larger roles than the other gods who were mentioned, Bravd and Weasel. The film also added several characters which did not appear until the second installment of the series, The Light Fantastic. Examples include Triman and Guldr Weatherwax. Number 3, the red star from The Light Fantastic appears in the first part of the film. It does not show up in the Color of Magic novel. In sum, the film's creators shoved a lot of The Light Fantastic into the first movie, which is supposed to be based on the Color of Magic, the second on The Light Fantastic, which I've already mentioned. Basically, everything with the wizard Triman trying to make his way up the university's ranks, and so on and so forth, is in the second book, not the first book, The Color of Magic. And that concludes my comparison of Terry Pratchett's first Discworld novel, The Color of Magic, to its film adaptation. What did you guys think? Did I leave anything out? Let me know down below in the comments. I'd always like to know what you guys think. And if you like what you saw here today, please give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell so you know what's up, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye guys!